Hi all, I am Rishika Gupta, currently working as a software engineer at LinkedIn. Do you know how the web works? What happens when you hit any URL in your browser? Well, to answer all these questions, in this video I am going to discuss about how the web works, what is web client-server architecture, the basics of HTML and the different types of HTML tag we use to define the structure or skeleton of our web pages. To stay updated in tech and to learn about different technologies with industry-leading expert, you can check out Scalar events page. Link is there in the description box. This video is going to be very beginner friendly with the assumption that you are going to write your very first HTML code with us in this video. So make your systems ready and let's get started with the first topic, how web works. First, let me clear few of the terminologies which I am going to use very frequently in this video. For example, what is a client and what is a server? So, a client, more specifically web client, is a machine which has the capability to send requests to our servers. These requests can be sent using application protocols like HTTP and HTTPS. One thing to note here is the client has to be connected with the internet. Again, the server is a machine which accepts those requests sent by our client, process those requests and send the results back to our requested client. But what happens when you hit any URL from your browser? Let's take an example of hitting google.com from your browser. Here your browser is acting like a client machine which is requesting Google server to send the corresponding responses to your browser, which your browser can interpret or parse and show it to the user on their UI in a presentable format. So are we saying that by hitting google.com on our browser we are able to request to Google servers? Well, the answer is no. Let's understand this via an analogy. Let's say you want to call one of your friend. Now each of your friend is going to have a different and unique phone number. And as these phone numbers are difficult to learn, you are going to say those phone numbers with a particular name in your mobile phones. Similar things we do in web as well. Now each server has their own unique IP addresses, which are internet protocol addresses. But our browser is going to hit the server with the domain names. So what do you think how we are going to map the server names with our IP addresses? For this we are going to use a server known as DNS. DNS is domain name server which resolves the mapping of IP addresses with its name. You can understand this again by the same analogy of saving phone numbers with the corresponding name in your phone. So you can understand DNS as the contact list where we have the mapping of IP addresses with the corresponding domain names. So now we have understood how to get the IP address of the server. So what is going to happen when you hit the URL on the browser? Using DNS, you are first going to resolve the domain name. And now when you have the IP address of the server, your request is going to be redirected to your server. Your server is going to process your request and send the result back to you. Then your browser is going to parse the response which it has received from the server and present it on the UI, which is user interface. Now let's see practically how the request and responses happen on the web browser. So for that we are going to use Google Inspect tool. For that you can right click on your screen, go to Inspect and then go to Network tab. Here as you can see we don't have any request right now. Now let's go to your search Google or type the URL. Here you can search any URL. I am writing google.com. If you see we have a lot of requests coming in the network tab now. And the first request being to google.com. And the third is on www.google.com, which is the actual URL of google.com. Now if you see here we have a lot of parameters like request URL, request method which is get in our case, status code which is 200 here, which represents that our request is successful by the server. And to see the response which has been sent by our server to our client, which is browser in this case, we can go to the response tab. If you see here, we have a very big document which is a HTML document. Now how I identified this is using the doc type attribute. Here doc type is HTML. So that is why the browser knows that this is an HTML document and parses accordingly. Now as we can see, here we have a lot of parameters, but how we are defining these parameters and which rules we are following. So these rules and regulations are set up by application protocols like HTTP and HTTPS. So HTTP represents Hypertext Transfer Protocol, whereas HTTPS represents Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, which provides security to your communication. So till now we have understood how to fetch the IP addresses of our server, how to make a request to our server and pass the response in our browser. So we are all good to start learning the basics of HTML. So in the next section of this video, we are going to learn about the basics of HTML. So HTML is Hypertext Markup Language. Please don't confuse it with other programming languages like Java and C++. HTML is a markup language which we use to decide the structure and skeleton of our web pages. Now let's create a new folder. You can click on the new folder icon. You can name it anything. I am naming it as Hello World, as this is going to be our first project. And inside this project, you can create a new file. I am naming the file as index.html. Now here you can type anything. Let's type Hello World again. Save this file and open it with Chrome. So you can right click on the file, reveal in Finder, and open this file with Google Chrome. So here if you see, we have Hello World written on the UI. Now you must be wondering what is the difference between the .html extension and the normal .txt extension. So let's see the difference. I am again going back to my VS Code, creating a new file with .txt extension. The name is again going to be same. I am just following the convention where we use HTML as the name of the file which is going to be the landing page of our website. Now again here we can write Hello World. Save this file and again open it with Chrome. Now here also if you see, we have Hello World written on the UI. So what is the difference? So to see the difference, I am going to add a tag in the HTML file. I am going to write h1 here, which is a heading tag in HTML. Please don't worry about what are tags and what is h1 tag in HTML. We are going to cover it further in this video. So I am going to write a content heading here. Save this file and reload your page. So as you can see, we have heading written here, but the text styling and the size is different from Hello World. Now that is because we have used the heading tag in our HTML file, and if we use the same content in our .txt extension file, now let's just copy this line and paste it in our normal text extension file. Save the file and reload in the browser. So here if you see, the content is written exactly how we have written it on the file without any formatting. That is because our browser knows that the previous file is a .html extension file and the current file is a text file. So we pass it accordingly. So now as we have understood the difference between the HTML and normal TXT file, in the next section of the video we are going to go deeper into HTML tags and how we are going to format our web pages. So HTML tags are used to tell our browser how we want to show elements on the web page. Let's see with an example. I am just clearing out all these information and starting a fresh tag with HTML. So this is going to be the first tag that we write in our HTML file, which shows that this is an HTML document. And here we add an attribute also as doc type. So I am just going to write doc type here, which is going to represent that this document is HTML5 document. Now everything that we mention here will be passed as an HTML document. Now in this we can have different type of tags like head tag. In the head tag we have all the information which we do not want to showcase on the web page, but they are still related to our website. For example, the title of your website. So for title, we have the title tag. I am going to write title here and the VS Code is auto completing my code. So let's say I am writing hello world as the name of my website. Again save this document and reload your page. So here if you see, we have nothing on the web page itself, but the tab name is hello world here because the title of our website is hello world defined. Now other type of information that we can add in the head tag are like metadata. Metadata is the data about data. So it can help in the search engine optimization of your website. Another thing that we can add in the head tag itself are the links of the string. दोबारा करते हैं. Metadata is data about data. You can use that tag for your search engine optimization. Now another very important tag inside your head tag is the links. Links that you can use to add style sheets and JavaScript file to your HTML documents. Now let's come to the next portion where we have body tag. Body tag is the actual tag which we are going to represent on the web page. So everything that we are going to write here will be represented on the web page. For example, I am writing hello world again, saving this document and refreshing my page. So now we have hello world written on the web page. So here we have hello world written on the web page. That is because it is defined under body tag. One very interesting thing about HTML files are they are case insensitive, which means even if I type this dog type in all small case letters, even then it is going to work exactly same as it is working with uppercase letters. Here if you see, VS Code is helping us to understand that our code is not correct right now. Can you see what is missing here? If you see, we don't have any opening bracket corresponding to this HTML. This is just the declaration that the doc type is HTML. This is not an opening tag for the corresponding closing tag. So I'm just going to write here HTML again to correct my code. And here if you see, the VS Code has auto completed it. Now as the closing tag was already there, so I'm just going to save my file and then for indentation purpose just cut this and paste again. Now save this file and as you can see, the VS Code has already done proper indentation here. But one very interesting thing to note about HTML is we really don't care about indentation right now. Even if I write the whole code in a single line, the browser will be able to parse this correctly if the opening and closing tags are properly written. Now let's first understand what are opening and closing tag and what are other elements present in HTML tag. So we have basically three parts in a HTML tag. One being the opening tag that we have already seen, like this one, line number 2. Second, we have the closing tag corresponding to the opening tag, like this one on line number 14. And the third, we have content, the content that is written between the opening and the closing tag, like all the content that is written from line number 3 to line number 13. Now one interesting thing in HTML tags are there are some exceptions where we do not have a closing tag corresponding to the opening tag of a particular element. Now there are also some tags in HTML which does not have any space to write content. For example, BR. BR is a tag to add a break line or it works like enter in paragraphs. Now let's see how we can add comments in HTML file. So everything that we comment out will not be passed by our browser and will not be shown on the web page. So I am using a shortcut here with command and /, but you can add these tags by yourself as well. Now all these lines which is written in the comment section will not be displayed on the web page. Let's save this file and see the response. Reload your page and here as you can see, we do not have heading to written. This opening, closing and content is coming because of this, so let's just clear it out, save it and reload it again. So here if you see, we do not have the content which is mentioned in the comment section. So that's how you can add comment in your HTML file. Let's just uncomment this code again and add a new tag. So now we are going to add paragraph tag here. In the paragraph tag, you can write any general paragraph or text that you want to display on your web page. So I am writing, I am Rishika. So just save this file and reload it again. So here as we can see, I am Rishika is written differently from heading 1 and heading 2. That is because heading tag is applying some CSS styling that we are going to learn in the next video also, but just to give a reference, we are adding some styling here. And all the styling can be seen using the inspect tool as well. So you can again go to the inspect tool and click on this particular element. Here if you see, we have all these properties. Now these properties are known as CSS styling, and in the paragraph element and in the heading element, this styling is going to be different, and hence we see the difference on our web page also. So the next tag that we are going to discuss about is the anchor tag. Anchor tag is used to add links on our web page. So I am just going to write A here, and A refers anchor here. Now this anchor tag inside the content section, I am going to write, let's say, click here. Let's save this file and see what is happening on our web page. Now if you see, we have click here written here, but we haven't added any link, and the purpose of anchor tag is to add links to our web page. So let's just copy paste this Google URL and let's see how we can add it in the anchor tag. So we are going to use an attribute known as href. So in the href, we can copy paste the URL that we have just copied and then save this file. Reload your page and let's see what happens. So if you see, now we have this effect of links, and when we click on this link, the URL is loaded. Now you can use other properties as well, like target. These all are attributes. Attributes helps us to define some specific properties within our element itself. These attributes are not going to be displayed on the web page, but these attributes are not going to be displayed on the web page as we are not writing them in the content section like click here, but they will help us to give some properties to the element. So you can mention whether you want to click this link and open it on the new tab or maybe new window or in the same window using the target attribute. So that's about the anchor tag. The next tag that we are going to discuss is the image tag, which is represented by img. So I'm going to write img here, and if you see, the VS Code hasn't auto completed it with the corresponding closing tag, because image tag is a special kind of tag where we do not have a corresponding closing tag. And it does make sense, right? Isn't it? Because in the image itself is the content. We do not have to write any specific content by ourselves. So here we are just going to mention the source URL of our image. So for that we are going to use the source attribute, and here we can give the reference path or maybe the URL of the image. So I have already some saved image, and let's just see how we can add them in the source attribute. So I'm just going to write images, and as you can see, the VS Code is already suggesting us the complete path. I'm going to click on the first image, save this file and reload it. So the image is added on the web page now. So that's how you can use the image tag and the other type of tags that we have discussed till now. Now let's see div and span tag. So although these two tags does not do any special functionality by themselves, but they are useful to group different HTML elements together. For example, if I add a paragraph and let's say hello, I am writing in the content section, and let's again add another paragraph, and in this I am writing world. Now these two paragraphs are inside this div. So if I save this file, reload my page and then use Google Inspect tool, I can see the two paragraphs are grouped together inside the div tag. So just hover on the elements, and if you see, the div tag holds both type of content and both paragraphs are actually the child of the parent div. So that's how you can group different elements together. It becomes very useful when you want to apply CSS or styling on your elements. Grouping different elements together helps you to define a style which can be applied on all the child items which are present in a particular div. Now let's see the different type of list we have in HTML. So here we have three types of list: ordered list, unordered list and description list. Let's see how we can add ordered list on our web page. For that I am going to use OL tag. OL refers to ordered list. Now to add element in this list, you can use li tag. Inside this you can just write that this is your option 1, and to add more elements, you can add more li tags inside your ol tag. This is option 2. Now save this file and reload your page. And here as you can see, we have two options, and as the list is ordered, we have the S number as 1 and 2. Now let's see how to add the unordered list. It's very similar to ordered list, it's just that the tag name will change here. So I'm just going to copy paste all the options that we have in our first list and save this file. Reload your page, and now as you can see, we have an unordered list also. And as this is unordered, we don't have any serial number linked with them. And lastly, we have description list. So in description list, we are going to have a description associated with each element of the list. For example, I am going to add a title here with the tag DT, and the name of the title is, let's say, title 1. Now to add the description with this title, I am going to use the DD tag, and I can write this is description 1. Now save these changes and reload your page. As you can see here, we have title 1 and the corresponding description added in the list. So that's all about today's video. As we have seen a lot of tags in HTML, but there are a lot more, like you can add forms, lists, tables and a lot more with HTML. So now you can explore more about HTML tags and let me know in the comment section how many tags you have learned in HTML. Hope you find this video useful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. See you in the next video. Till then, take care.